Thanksgiving begins a very special time of the year for us. It's the time of peace and reflection, and of getting ready for the new year. One thing we should all be thankful for is that we live in America, where we have the freedom to change things and the opportunity to...
Welcome to the Drunk Turkey Show, starring Big Blue.
Okay, can I say hi, Kim?
Hi. Oh, I love you. You are just like a giant...
Or improvisation.
Lady Liberty just squirted in my face. And when you do drink with a straw, the myth is you get more drunk because you get more air mixed in.
Hi, Maggie.
Like, you know how the fans going like this? It goes, ooh, yeah, when it hits my butthole. Last time I went to Mexico, I stopped by a little stand and the lady had gloves. I was like, lady, take off those gloves. I need that shit.
It wasn't.
I'm drinking beer so you can feel good and like it tastes good. What the hell's the point of this?
And Daniel J.
I got a friend named John Martinez who's not allowed in the library. Yo puede hablar español cuando yo te mando. You look very handsome tonight, LJ.
Every day, it's an everyday thing. I gotta
wake up because his excellence.
Y'all watch them every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. I get to see them every day. I get to see that. They get to see those chicks every day. What's on his face?
And the other ones.
3000, it still sucks. This is Philip J. Fry, and you're listening to the Drunken Turkey Show. Your one stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe. You know what to do, just like every other podcast.
Just like every other podcast. Welcome back to the Drunk Turkey Show. I'm your host, Daniel J. Alongside with me, as always, Hi Man Big Blue. Hi Man, how you doing, man?
Pixelated, apparently.
Yeah, you're coming in and out of existence right now.
But I'm doing good so far.
Blue seems to be having the same problem. He's got some Lady Liberty still on his face, apparently.
I know. I'm messing with my lighting, trying to get it to work, man. I have half a shoulder and stuff, you know.
Oh man, well, it's better than no shoulder. Today we got a good show for you guys. Today we're going to be talking on two topics. The first one is, I'm a huge Steelers fan, and so when this news broke out last year of the passing of quarterback Dwayne Haskins, especially in the manner that he passed, it was very devastating. It was a sad day. It happened just over a year ago out in Florida. He was with other teammates practicing, and then gets hit by a dump truck on the highway heading back to the airport. Completely like a sad situation. And there's been some developments in that case, or in that situation. A lot of folks thought it was just what it was. The guy got drunk and ran out of gas, and apparently there's a little bit more to the story. But before we jump into it, did you guys hear about that story? We'll start off with you, Henry.
Yeah, I heard it a while back, but I know that some stuff came up about the truck that actually hit him, and certain things that was wrong with it, and the driver.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Big Blue? What do you think?
Yeah, something's off about the story because the guy, I know I read it a while back too, and it said something about the driver saw him but couldn't stop and all this other stuff. So it's a pretty crazy story.
No, it is. And let's get into it. This is actually from ESPN. It talks about Dwayne Haskins drugged in blackmail conspiracy before his passing. His widow is filing a lawsuit on his behalf. So Dwayne Haskins was drugged on the night of his death as a part of an alleged blackmail. Hold on 1 second. I know you guys can't hear it, but I can. This ad is super loud. All right, there you go. The lawsuit filed last month in Broward County, Florida, lists 4 individuals, 2 restaurants, a golf driving range, and a hotel as defendants connected into the alleged conspiracy. Haskins' life was taken April 9, 2022, after he was struck by a dump truck while walking on South Florida Highway. He was 24 years old. The lawsuit also lists the driver of the truck as a defendant, citing his negligent acts as a direct cause of Haskins' death. Now, I'm gonna stop it right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's some stuff that talk about why the truck was possibly at fault, but I think that the responsibility goes on the company, not the driver, as far as tires and regulation and upkeep of the vehicle. What are your thoughts? We'll start off with you, Heather.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a lot of companies that try to cut corners and stuff, and they don't report all of the stuff that is wrong with the vehicle. Just so you can keep on working.
Right.
And I think that's the case in this one.
I agree, man. I agree. What about you, Big Blue? What do you think?
And it varies, man. Sometimes you can say the company was negligent, or sometimes it could be the driver, man. Sometimes the drivers don't want to take the truck off the road to stop it, get pulled off for working for a couple of days, so they just keep going without reporting stuff. But it depends. I remember I used to have a neighbor. It was the craziest thing, man. He would work for a big company around town, and he had his own semi truck. And he'd be like, "Hey, can you pick me up at the tire shop?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? We'll go eat breakfast or something." And then he'd be like, "Yeah, they put new tires on my company truck." I said, "Oh, nice." Well, yeah, I'm swapping them out to my my personal truck.
Sounds about right.
That sounds like it definitely does. Well, Blue, don't be doing that.
I didn't do it. I just picked them up to go eat breakfast. I was like, "Whoa, man, it's pretty crazy." He's telling me while we were eating breakfast. I was like, "Yeah, they put all new tires on my truck, so I'm swapping them out to my personal truck." Like, man, you're nuts.
You're an accessory.
He's like,
no shit. So this goes on to say it's believed that Dwayne was targeted and drugged as a part of a blackmail and robbery conspiracy. Attorney Rick Ilsley said in a statement, in fact, his highly expensive watch was stolen from him shortly before his passing. Haskins' widow, Calabria Haskins, is listed in the lawsuit as a plaintiff and personal representative of Haskins' estate. She is seeking a jury trial and unspecified damages, related to Haskins' death. A toxicology report concluded that Haskins was legally drunk when he was hit by the truck on I-595 in Florida. Separate samples taken from his body had blood alcohol levels of 0.2 and 0.24, both of which are above the legal limit of Florida, 0.08. And so when he passed, apparently he ran out of gas on the highway. He was with another female in the vehicle that was not his wife, and he was going to go to a gas station that wasn't too far away from the highway. And apparently he was just feet away from finishing crossing the highway when the dump truck hit him. And so we'll continue real quick. According to the toxicology report, Haskins also tested positive for ketamine and norketamine. First and foremost, Blue, are you familiar with both of these narcotics?
Yeah, man, they're pretty strong. There.
What are they used for?
They used to kind of like put you down a little bit, like kind of like downers. You know what I mean? Like people with depression and stuff like that. They'll kind of use just like sedate a little bit.
Now, would that interfere with his judgment?
Oh yeah. With those kind of treatments. I mean, most of the time people get dropped off, and then they have to get signed out of wherever they're getting their treatments at.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And they can't drive for like 2 or 3 hours after the treatment.
Now, are these type of drugs easy to come by?
No. They're like triplicate prescription. They're only given by like pain specialists or like psychiatrists, and some points.
Now, he was traveling, right? So he was they went to Florida to go do practice amongst the team, right? And so this wasn't his hometown. This is one where he was staying or where he was living. He was visiting this area. And so, that kind of, unless he brought the narcotics with him, it's kind of sketchy there on its own. The fact that he had this in his system.
Yeah.
Let's continue. So it says here, drugs that are used by medical professionals as anesthetics, but also have been known to be used recreationally. Medical examiner ruled Haskins' cause of death as multiple blunt force injuries and the manner of death as an accident. No charges have been filed. In 911 audio from the accident, Calabria Haskins told the dispatcher her husband called early April 9th and said he was going to get out of his rental car to get gas and would call her back when he returned. She called 911 after she didn't hear back and requested dispatch to check in on him. The final crash report released last year by the Florida Highway Patrol said Haskins was walking on westbound side of I-595 when he entered into the travel lanes and into the path of a dump truck, which was traveling in the center lane. The front left of the truck struck Haskins. So basically, right in front of where the driver was at. The lawsuit alleges the driver of the dump truck was speeding, driving carelessly, and had cargo load exceeding the legal weight limit. The lawsuit also alleges negligence by the individual owner of the 1994 truck, the driver trucking company, the Florida Department of Transportation, the rental car company, and the contractor provided signage along I-595. And so basically anybody that was there or involved or whatnot, even the rental car company, I'm not sure what she would be able to sue them for. I mean, I understand that he ran out of gas, but that's, in my opinion, the responsibility of the operator. What do you think, Ina?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I don't think that should be a case to sue a rental company unless the car itself had a malfunction or something like that. You know what I mean? More with the car itself system. But when it comes down to gas, I think it should be, the drivers or whoever rents it, the responsibility. And also like even with the truck that hit him, right? Like they said he was exceeding the weight limit, right, on his car,
right, on the truck.
So like even that, like even if he saw him, I don't think he would have been able to stop in time.
I agree. I mean, there was also some indications about the tire sidewalls and the tires weren't up to par and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And in that aspect, I get it 100%. You need to make sure and ensure that your vehicle is safe before you put it on the road. This continues to say, the Florida Highway Patrol traffic homicide report shows that Dwayne was only feet away from making it safely across the roadway when he was struck and killed by the old dump truck. Many questions remain as to why the truck driver did not avoid hitting Dwayne, given the highly visible activity in the area before the impact and the fact that other drivers did not hit Dwayne. I mean, I don't think that you can use other operators on the vehicle as an excuse for this guy not, shouldn't have hit him. At the end of the day, Dwayne Haskins was crossing the roadway, impaired or not, was crossing the roadway.
Yeah.
Not in the crosswalk, not in an area where you can walk safely. I don't think, and I understand the wording here because they're trying to make it as impactful as possible when it comes to these type of lawsuits. But I don't think you can solely justify or say that he shouldn't have hit him based on the fact that other vehicles didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't like that aspect of it. Let's see. The Washington Commanders had a lawsuit filed by the District of Columbia Attorneys General requiring them to pay out. I don't know if this has anything to. Yeah, that's something different. All right, so that's the end of this, right? Now, apparently, because of the drugs that were in his system and the fact that a watch of his was stolen, they are suspecting that he possibly was robbed, right? Or drugged and then robbed. We've heard stories where some women have drugged their, I know of one person who's a rapper now, who's a musician who while was a dancer in her previous profession would drug her Patreons and steal their money and rob them. And so it's not something that is uncommon, I don't think.
Don't forget Bill Cosby.
Yes, there is Bill Cosby as well.
It's funny how we're talking about this because I was just watching Ash the Evil Dead show, and they make a drink with ketamine in it.
Dude,
really?
That's one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm sad that they canceled the rest of this.
I'm on season 2.
Dude,
what's it called?
Ash the Evil Dead.
Ash versus the Evil Dead. Check it out. It's fun.
I think I need to check it out, man.
It's fun. You love it. But when there's a lot of that going around, especially in the bigger cities when they spike someone's drink and whatnot, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that's not uncommon. And you have somebody who's young, going out, in a big city like Miami, that's a party city and things like that. He's 24 years old, multimillionaire. He's going to be out flaunting, doing young people thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, operating a vehicle under the influence obviously is not a very smart thing, right? But there could be some things that were affecting his judgment, like the fact that maybe perhaps he was unknowingly drugged. And if he was unknowingly drugged, then he's not responsible for what happens afterwards, in my opinion.
The toxicology report just said that he had that in his system.
Yeah, just the ketamine and the alcohol.
Or did they find like the actual prescription bottles or whatever?
No, I think they just found it in his system. I don't think they found any bottles. And apparently, like I said, they're let's see. All right, there it goes. All right, so this says here that the lawsuit alleges that Oriel Patino, who was the driver of the dump truck, was driving carelessly, failed to maintain brakes and tires on his truck.
Mm-hmm.
He also apparently did not take a toxicology, any type of toxicology test after the effect either. So there's been, I guess, speculation from the Haskins side that maybe perhaps he was under the influence of alcohol himself. They would never know, you know what I mean? Because he never tested.
How long does it usually take to for that stuff to wear out, like the alcohol levels to go down?
And all varies on how much they ate. Normally it takes a good 4 to 6 hours sometimes, but if they eat, sometimes like 2 to 3, depending on how much they drink.
So they have to get on that toxicology report at least within the hour or 2 hours to get a more specific, accurate.
Yeah, unless they drink a lot, it could be up to 4 to 6 hours. But yeah, unless they ate and drank water. It's in your breath. You absorb it in your body, and your lungs absorb it, and then it comes out. That's how we test it at work. We test it with breathalyzers machines. And but I follow this TikTok couple, and they test, how long one beer would take to be in your system, how long one beer would take in your system with eating, and stuff like that. And then depends on what you eat and like the amount of movement you're doing, it can get out of your system quicker. So always eat, because your level will go down with eating.
So this from the New York Post says a member of the Steelers told police that Haskins went to dinner with his cousin after training with teammates, and then later went to a club. They drank heavily, and at some point they got into a fight, separating. The ME report said. So, as to what occurred the hours before Dwayne life was taken, many questions remain unanswered. Rick Elsley from the Elsley law firm who filed the suit stated in a statement, I believe that Dwayne was targeted and drugged as part of a blackmail and robbery conspiracy. In fact, his highly expensive watch was stolen, right? And in a released 911 call, Haskins' wife, said his car ran out of gas. A female companion who was in Haskins' car on the side of the highway also told Florida Highway Patrol that Haskins was looking for gas. And so, and here's a casket of Dwayne Haskins, and it's so sad, man. He was just so young, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess all needs to be proven is if he took that willingly or unwillingly, right? That's If it was unwilling, that there's more to his death,
Yeah, and if it's unwillingly, if it was like unconsent, right? There was no consent to take the recreational drug or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then, in my opinion, this turns into a murder situation because typically when you're looking at that type of crime, you're looking at premeditation, right? You have to prove premeditation, and in this situation, I don't think this was premeditated, right? However, during the commission of a felony, which a robbery and drugging somebody would be felony, if somebody dies due to the outcome of that, that's a felony murder.
Yeah.
Depending on the state, right? In Texas, that is. And so, in my opinion, if they drugged him to rob him and the outcome was his life being taken, then that meets the justification for charges, in my opinion. And I think some should be brought up against, because this guy, regardless of who he is or whatever, it doesn't matter that he was an NFL player or a millionaire. He could be broke. It doesn't matter. Taking somebody's life in this manner is just, in any manner, is you need to go to jail. You need to go to jail. That's just
yeah. Is there any background on the female companion that he had, this passenger? By her?
Not that I have been able to find yet. You know, when this incident occurred, it was ruled an accident. It's been ruled an accident for a while. And so this is like, all this is brand new. They didn't even, like I said, they didn't even do a toxology report on the driver that took his life.
No?
Yeah, no, they didn't even take a toxology report. What's that?
I said they didn't do it at all, not even like hours later, or because like you said earlier, like even if you took it like 8 hours later, it wouldn't show a lot, right?
Right. But yeah, no, they didn't do a toxology report on the driver of the dump truck or anything. So there was just some kind of there was just some issues there with it. You know what I mean?
Because they saw it as like a freak accident on the highway, so they wouldn't drug test them, or unless when they were talking to them, they smell alcohol, and then they can do it.
Well, I will say this though. This report says the report also notes that the driver refused to provide a blood sample to the police at the scene.
Oh.
That's a little bit different. That's a different terminology, being refused than not even asked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Now,
he has something to hide.
That does sound like he had something to hide. Exactly. And it's not like you can't go back and figure it out, right? Like,
yeah.
That's lost forever.
I wonder.
You know,
they said that he was on at a club, right? I wonder if they have any other surveillance footage of him.
I'm sure they do, man. It'd be interesting to see if somebody put something in one of his drinks or not.
Yeah, or like at least sees different people that are interacting with him that he usually doesn't, especially because like he's not in his hometown, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, he's also from like the Maryland area, so he's not even from Florida. He doesn't, you know what I mean? He went to college in Ohio State. He was part of the Washington Commanders, which is also in Maryland area, the Washington D.C. area, and so. You know, I'm not saying he doesn't have connections down in Miami. I'm sure he does. Probably got teammates down there that he's played with in other places or whatever. But yeah, all that piled in a bunch, it does seem very suspicious. And the fact that he wouldn't, the driver, refused to provide a sample, that's glaring. And I don't understand why a warrant wasn't, brought up to take it. Now, I don't know the laws in Florida. Out here in Texas, if you commit a crime or you're involved in an accident where the life of somebody was taken, and they would, you get a warrant and they would take it from you. Didn't Cardi B do a song about this crud?
I don't know if it was a song. I know she talked about it, but I'm not really sure. I can't remember. I don't listen to Cardi B.
Yeah, I don't really listen to her music either.
Mm-hmm.
I remember she admitted to it.
Yeah, I heard she talked about it.
I think she talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think. Well, you never know. I don't know half of the stuff she's saying, anyways.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. We don't know what half the things she say. It's not my type of jams, yo. I'm from Texas, so I like myself some rock and country, y'all.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. So. If y'all want to know what I'm about, that's what I'm about. In fact, we don't only just cover true crime, yo. We also do other things. We bring on musicians, actors, film producers, things of that nature. And we have interviews. So musicians are back on our list. So if you're a musician out there and want to come on the show, give us an email at drunkturkeyshow@gmail.com. We'll talk to you about it. Or an actor or whatever. You have a film coming out. We've had a few of those guys, reach out. And so, but with Dwayne, also, y'all, please hit that like and subscribe button. We got 80 of you guys in here. I'm not sure how many likes do we have so far. We have 34 likes. Let's get that up. Let's get it up. Let's see. Eric Church. I like Eric Church. Eric Church is a good guy.
What's it called? When it comes to Dwayne, you mentioned that he was a pro football player and everything. He had money. I mean, couldn't he just call somebody to bring on gas, or at least, or maybe tow?
You see, that's what I would have thought too. But he was on his way to the airport. There's a possibility that he was running late. If it was a rental vehicle. So when this happened, this is what I initially thought. Right, my first thought was that this guy prepaid his gas at the airport, right? And says, all right, I'll pay for it. So that's why he didn't put gas into it. Yeah. And he was trying to make it back to the airport and just didn't. You know what I mean? I think he got pretty close. And so that was my first initial thought, was like, man, that sucks. He probably rented a vehicle from the airport, probably prepaid the gas for it, so didn't want to put gas in it. And, you know, it's unfortunate that the decision that he made. But the other thing is, too, if he was drugged, you know, his judgment could have been, you know, impaired to the point
definitely.
where he just made a stupid mistake. But you would have thought also that the passenger in the vehicle would have said something like, yo, dude, just call tow truck.
Yeah, unless she's part of the plot, so to speak, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, she stayed there, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you can really flee from that area. I mean, it's you're on the side of a highway, so it's not like you can just run into a store or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's a sad situation, but if it ends up coming out the fact that he was drugged due to trying to steal something from him,
yeah,
nah, those guys need to go to jail.
Yeah,
they need to go to jail.
They stole his watch, right? A couple hours before that?
Yeah, it's been reported that his watch was stolen a few hours.
It's it's crazy, right? Like what people will do for certain materialistic things.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right, dude. I mean, people will do anything just to take what you have.
Yeah.
DGR Dave, he would have beat out Rudolph. I agree. Rudolph, he had his time with the Steelers as well. He didn't make it. You know, a lot of folks were thinking that there was a possibility that Dwayne Haskins could have somehow been the starter for the Steelers. You know, he was a first round pick, you know, top 15 pick, you know, just didn't make a lot of right choices. You know, when he was with Washington, that whole C-19 thing started, you know, pandemic or whatever. Yeah, he was told to separate, not do anything. And he was seen out at a party without a mask on. And apparently there was like a couple strippers there. It was like a house party or even a club. I'm not sure, but his coach had just finished or was going through chemo for cancer, and so it wasn't a good look. You know, that he was out there, and this is just when it started, so it didn't appear that you know, it looked like his coach probably would have been one of the guys that was susceptible to the more dangerous part of the C-19 because of his chemotherapy and all that other stuff that was already going on. And so with that being said, you know, they cut his ties, came to the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he was the Steelers is a classy organization in my opinion. And so, you know, they try to turn things around, and I don't think he did anything out of the ordinary. You know, when you're 24 years old, you go to the clubs, you drink.
Yeah,
I mean, Blue still does it, right?
I still do it, man. I'm 30 something.
What's it called? When it comes down to the drugs being in his system, don't they do a drug test? The NFL.
They do, but this was the off season, and so this was just after the season. They had just picked up Mitch Trubisky, so I'm guessing this was in April, and so the season the draft hadn't even happened yet.
But they don't even they weren't even playing, not playing, but they were like preseasons or what?
Not even, man. This was just like, all right, the season ended. You know, we got a new quarterback, which was Mitch Trubisky at the time. And, you know, it was Mitch's idea. He called everybody he has a house out there in Florida, and they wanted to go practice and, you know, just throw the ball around. And Dwayne went out there. So did like Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson. I don't know if Deontay went out there, but a lot of the Steelers players did. And it's just unfortunate that this ends up happening. You know, I was watching some of the, like TikToks, Instagram lives and stuff that some of the players, and it's heartbreaking. You know, there was one Chase Claypool, who is now a member of the Chicago Bears. He was out there during, you know, when this incident occurred, and he went live when he was driving by it, and was just bawling out, crying. You know, well, you know, everything you would expect. Yeah, and so, it's just super sad, and it was super sad then. and to see this type of stuff, that there's a possibility that there was foul play involved here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not just sad. That makes people angry, and rightfully so.
Well,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
What's it called? Those drugs that were found in his system. How long do they usually last in their system? Luke was asleep.
No, I looked that up real quick. I was gonna look up something real quick, but I'll look it up and I'll tell you.
Okay.
Because here's my thing with my experience with like working in law enforcement when it comes to ketamine. Like people get they're super suggestive. Like you can just tell them whatever you want and they'll do it. Like, hey, stand up. All right, and they'll just stand up. Hey, lay down. All right, lay down. Take your clothes off, and they'll do it. And that's why it's commonly used when it comes to like date rape stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's been known to be used for that type of thing. And if he was just highly susceptible to suggestion, he pulls over. Hey, we need gas. You ran out of gas. We need to get to a gas station. All right. Gets out of the car and starts walking to the gas station. And it's stupid, man. I remember when I heard this, I was like, what? I mean, I was literally speechless for like hours, man. I couldn't even, I was like, I was like, how? Like, I was just watching videos of him throwing the ball with the other guys out there in Miami. Like, this was posted all over everything because that's what the NFL players do nowadays. You know what I'm saying? They'll go out there, they'll throw the ball around, they'll play ball, and they'll have everything on Twitter and Instagram. It's awful. So,
yeah, it says that it can stay in your system for a couple hours. There's two forms of it. There's the injectable kind, or they put it in an IV, or there's the powder kind. And then people say it's similar to like them using cocaine, but it's a little bit different. So it gives them a little bit of about 30 minutes to an hour on average, depending on how much they use. And you don't feel pain when you're taking the ketamine. And when you mix it with alcohol, it makes it a lot stronger. So
yeah.
So it has no taste or anything.
It doesn't show that it tastes like anything. So I don't know.
TF says he didn't do drugs. He was going to work his butt off to be the starting QB for the Steelers. And, there's some folks that talked to Dwayne on Instagram and stuff, and they brought out some messages, after this passing and stuff. Like if you guys weren't aware, I cover the Steelers also. I cover them on State of the Steelers on YouTube and also on Steel Curtain Network, formerly known as Behind the Steel Curtain. And, talking with some of my other colleagues, at the time about this that's going on with the Steelers stuff. And there was one guy who had text messages where he was talking to the general manager, Kevin Colbert, Dwayne Haskins, that is, and was telling him how he was working his tail off. He wanted to be the starter, and that there was a conversation there that he was going to be given an opportunity to play. And it's just so disappointing. I mean, not just for the Steelers aspect of it or playing or his career, but just in general, his, a young life taken at such an early age and what seems like all for greed. Yeah, it's what's the world coming to now, man?
No, exactly, man. Like when I used to go out to the bars and whatnot, that was like one of the main things, right? Like for women to make sure their drinks are taken care of and everything. I remember that because you never know who's out there just looking for a predator out there looking for their prey.
Yeah, and the NFL does that. The NFL has when players get drafted, right, and they become NFL, employees basically. They go through a course that talks about how people try to take advantage of you because of your money, your fame, your status, and what to do. Phone numbers in case you're out drinking, you need to get something, a car, whatever. They have that, and so they have that for the players. Unfortunately, some of those players, they're like, it goes one in ear, out the other. When you're young, you think you know everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, You know, do you think you're invincible? You know, and you're looking at some of these players, right? They're high performance athletes who have done tremendous things throughout their entire lives to get to the point where they're drafted into the NFL. You know, when you're at that point in your life, you probably think you're on top of the world and nobody can stop you. And so, you know, there's a lot of players that end up, you know, spending a significant amount of time in the NFL that come back and talk about those type of things. Jerry Jones, hey, everyone in the chat tonight. Just wait to hear.
Jerry Jones.
Well, Jerry, I don't know what else to tell you, man.
I saw that you're getting rid of Zeke, so that might be a plus.
Yeah. We're talking about you earlier, Jerry, on Steel Curtain Network. You might want to go check it out. We're talking about the Steelers and Cowboys. I'm sorry. And but yeah, when it comes to this case here, man, it's sad. We're going to keep everybody updated as things come out. I don't really see the vehicle rental place, you know, having any involvement in this.
Yeah.
You know, the driver, he refused the blood test, so that's odd.
I think everybody has a little bit of fault that ended up, you know what I mean, at this point. But it just depends, man. If he took that willingly, then it's a whole different story, you know. Yeah. If he did it, which I don't think he did, because you know he was the next, you know, he was trying to pick up his career, you know what I mean, like get his career and, you know, be a quarterback, whatnot. So I don't think he would do that. But there's a lot of players out there that do stuff that they're not supposed to be doing. Also, so I don't know how the NFL has been doing with that.
No, I hear you. And Just Me says, what is the Cars OnStar, or what if the Cars OnStar didn't work? Well, if the Cars OnStar didn't work, then yeah, if there was something that was wrong with the vehicle,
yeah,
like that, like he couldn't. But the only thing is, he called his wife. You know, to tell her that he was going to be walking across the highway to get gas.
Yeah.
One, the wife probably should have told him to stay in the car, and two, I mean, just because you don't have access to OnStar doesn't mean you don't have access to your phone to call for that help. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But again, he was, you know, if it was not working, then yeah, the rental car can be found liable for some stuff. Even though, in my personal opinion, it's not the responsibility of the rental car place to ensure that you have gas and aren't walking across the street like that. That's just my personal opinion. But if they did have something faulty with the vehicle, then yeah, no, for sure.
Maybe he didn't want to call for help. Maybe he thought he could do it himself because he was trying to be discreet about everything. Yeah,
that's possible. To me, it just felt like he just, you know, was trying to make it back to the airport low on gas and made a mistake. But, you know, the drugs in his system, the alcohol level that he had probably impaired his judgment. It's just, hopefully, I just hope he wasn't drugged, because if he was, that just that to me, that's criminal. And criminal, and then what I mean by that, obviously it's criminal, but I'm talking about the classification of offense should be felony M, not robbery, none of those things. Felony M, because the outcome is what it is. Now, in other news today, or what else we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about the disappearance of Madeline Kingsbury. There's been a lot of suspicion around this case, and we're going to get into it. We're going to be covering this case as more developments come along as well. But let's get into it. Let's talk about this. So, Madeline Kingsbury, missing Minnesota mom, final text is revealed as family slams gossip about search. So you know what? Let me find. I want to find the initial, because that's just the last messages. I want to find where this started so we can talk about it. Let's see. So the search for a Minnesota woman continued Saturday in Winona. Police say 1,800 people came out to search for Madeline Kingsbury. 26-year-old mother of two has not been seen since March 31st that she dropped off her kids at daycare.
Yeah.
Okay. So here are some of the suspicious things about this case real quick. She drops off her kids 31st March with her husband, her baby father, boyfriend, because they're not married, at the daycare. They end up going back home, right? And he ends up leaving at 10 o'clock. She is messaging. She is Madeline. She's messaging her sister and stops communication at 8:15.
Yeah.
Boyfriend leaves at 10 and returns back at 1:34, and she's missing. She's not there. He doesn't report her missing. It's her family that reports her missing because she's not responding to text messages.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the initial thing, right?
Yeah.
Officials have called Kingsbury disappearance involuntary and suspicious. She has no contact with her family since March 31st. The father of Kingsbury children told police that they left their house in a blue minivan soon after the drop-off, and when he came back, she was gone. When it comes down to it, the family needs answers. Volunteer Carly Gobler said, so I think it's in the back of our heads that we need to find something to help this case. And this is a picture of the young lady, 26 years old, mother of two. This is the vehicle that she was in. So police are asking for anyone along Highway 34 corridor in Winona and Fillmore counties to check their properties, including any video cameras, doorbells, game cameras, etc. Now, in my opinion, I think that they think that the boyfriend is suspicious because supposedly, from what I understand, the boyfriend went to his dad's house about 2 hours or an hour and a half south of where they live in Winona. And from my understanding, he went through Fillmore to get there. So if they're searching the areas in which the plant that he took after the incident, that leads me to believe that more than likely they suspect him.
Oh yeah, definitely. When cases like this happens, and they usually look at the husband or the wife. That's the first thing they do. You know what I mean? That's what the first thing they do. And if they can't, I mean, if they can clear them, they clear them, and then they start looking for something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, here's the other thing. Supposedly, now these are just rumors at this point. This point is just rumors. Supposedly, the boyfriend and the girl, supposedly, Madeline was breaking up with her boyfriend. So that also adds to it. Yeah. So police are asking anyone. So this is the vehicle, right? It says here, Kingsbury stands 5'4" tall and weighs about 135 pounds. She has brown hair, hazel eyes. Kingsbury family is offering $50,000 reward, right? And so, who is her boyfriend? Her boyfriend is, well, not Lowe's, that's for sure.
He's an MVP. That's what he is.
He's the MVP. So his name is Adam Fravel. All right. So this is him. A couple things about him. He's a software engineer, right? So he understands technology.
Yeah.
That sounds a little bit like Koberger. Not in the aspect of like he's a criminal investigator, but Koberger was studying cloud forensics and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So Adam Farrell is a software engineer from Winona, Minnesota. According to his LinkedIn page, social media posts, online records show that he is the father of the missing Winona mother, Madeline Kingsbury's children. So he's the baby dad. So authorities have not named Fravel. Although authorities have not named Fravel, Winona Police Chief Tom Williams said in a news conference that the father of the Kingsbury children was the last known person to see the Mayo Clinic researcher, telling authorities that he drove her van and then returned it to Kingsbury's residence. Now, people at work, she was supposed to go to work that day. She worked at a Mayo Clinic. He took off in her van. I wonder what time she was supposed to go to work. Because like if he takes off at like 10 o'clock, right, and comes back at 1:30, and she was supposed to be at work, let's just say at 11, 10, 12, 1.
Yeah.
Like, was he just leaving her stranded there? He took off in her car.
Exactly. How old are the kids, you know?
I don't know how old her kids are, but they're fairly young from my understanding.
Maybe he took that car because it had car seats already in there?
But the kids were in daycare already.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she dropped them off already, right?
Yeah, they both dropped him off.
Yeah, they both.
He went. I wonder if that's common. Like, for instance, for both of them to drop them off. You know what I mean? Because to me, that's not common. I don't think it's common. I don't think it's common for both parents to go and drop off a child. I think it's more, I believe she was looking for a job that worked from home. I don't know if she still worked from home, but if she did, then yeah, that would make sense as far as why he would take the car. Yeah. But both of them dropping off the child is a little bit concerning to me because I don't really see that. I usually see one parent dropping off a child on their way to work or whatnot, right? Both parents, seems like there may have been a discussion prior to going to the daycare, maybe an argument that they were wanting to finish in the car.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, I wonder if like the crew, the daycare people saw anything different in her, the way she was acting or the way he was acting.
Right.
You know what I mean? First of all, should be his name. That should be the first coup.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, why?
Travel.
Oh. And so this is him. This is what his kids. So let's see. According to Fravel's LinkedIn page, he worked under a contract for a realty ad site and advertising and media, web media. In that position, he wrote that his duties include directing the creation of advertisement and other media projects, analyze, optimize advertising performances across device and market types. Let's see. It's just an IT guy. It's not really important. Okay. Facebook, Fravel's new visible photo showing with the children he shares with Madeline Kingsbury. Kingsbury and her mother like some of his posts. So cute, the mother wrote with one post. Okay, so Winona police describe Madeline Kingsbury as an endangered missing persons. Okay, police describe Kingsbury as an endangered missing person in a statement. She also goes by the name of Maddie Kingsbury. Kingsbury, 26, was last seen in the morning of March 31st. Let's see if there's anything else that's new about this. Nope.
Did they have enough for for his cell phone records?
I would say so. Right now they've done searches along the area in which that he drove to apparently his dad's house, right?
Yeah.
And that leads me to believe that they're looking for something. They told people to look into their properties, look for things that are disturbed. They've asked for people to check their Ring camera and all their other footage.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like they're on to somebody and that traveled this direction. Now, here's the thing though. Let's just say he did do something to her and he put her in the van. And then in my opinion, it's probably a strangulation situation, and not something that dealt with blood.
Yeah,
because I think that would have been visible in the van.
He looks a way bigger, bigger than her. I mean, she was like 135. You said?
Yeah,
like 5'4".
5'4". Yeah, she looks a lot more just petite,
Yeah, he's almost as tall as that damn plane there, so he's probably a larger guy.
Yeah, I'm just. What about her cell phone and purse and all that stuff? Did they find
all
that?
That stuff was found at the house.
So that automatically tells you, like, if she's not gonna. First of all, she's a mom. I don't think most mothers don't leave their kids. You know what I mean?
True.
And if she wanted to leave, I mean, I'm pretty sure she would have taken those stuff. That stuff,
Unless she was trying to just run away from her life.
But don't money?
I don't think it's true. I think something happened to her.
No, I believe that something happened to her. I believe that her significant other knows a little bit more that he's dead.
I was about to say, did she go walking in a park with a river, just like the one in England?
Right.
Yeah.
Nicola Bully. Yeah, it sounds kind of similar. Her daughter is 5 and her son is 2.
Yeah.
So let's see. Father's dad may have lived on the route taken. Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's see. Recently, developments. Late investigators believe the van matching the description of Kingsbury was seen traveling from Winona to eastern part of Fillmore during the day of March 31st. I wonder what he said he was doing at that time. What do you think? That, like,
I wonder if that was like something he did, like, often. You know what I mean? Because it would look different if he wasn't doing that all the time. It just happens to be this time when she goes missing.
Yeah. And so,
yeah, because I think if it was somebody running away, she would have like at least maybe emptied the bank accounts or something. Have some cash.
Some sort of plan, yeah.
Yeah. So we need to leave everything behind. It's kind of crazy because you need at least your ID to be able to get into buy a plane ticket, buy a bus ticket.
Yeah.
I think something fishy happened.
Vote.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. You're all right. So this says here, Williams said in a news conference that Kingsbury and the father of her children dropped their daughter off 5 and 2 at a daycare shortly after 8. At about 8:15, Kingsbury vehicle returned to her residence, but she didn't show up for work at the Mayo Clinic. So I know she was looking for jobs that were at home, but I don't think she worked at home. I think she worked there. She didn't show up for work.
Mm-hmm.
The father says that he left around 10 a.m., but she was gone when he got back.
And also, his sister said that she didn't notice anything wrong, right? They were just having a normal, pretty much conversation over text.
Yeah, well, that they were exchanging funny pictures of each
other.
Yeah,
Okay,
having a good time.
Nothing out of the ordinary, right?
Right, exactly. And yeah, because this one says, where did I find it? Found it somewhere around here where it says about what she was texting. Or let's see. Megan Kingsbury stated that she received a final lighthearted text message from her sister around 8:15 a.m. We were chuckling about a funny photo exchange between us, and that was the last communication with me or with any of my family or her friends. At 8:15, that was about the time that they got home.
Yeah, exactly. So from 8:15 to 10 when he leaves, right? And then comes back at, what'd you say, 1?
Yeah, like around 1 something, and she was gone.
She was gone. Yeah, they're going to have to, that sounds a little bit, right now, it seems like he's the prime suspect.
They've not named him one yet. They've not named him. They've not named anybody a person of interest or a suspect yet.
I mean, maybe because they don't want him to panic or, be a flight risk, maybe.
Right.
But I'm sure they're going to put some pressure in.
I would. And then, see if he's willing to give up some information. Like, for instance, his cell phone. If he's willing to, do that willingly, that might, let me believe that there's possibility that there is something going on. Hold on, I saw something. Isn't there vomit with strangulation? Blue, is that true?
I read that too, man. I don't think so. Not always.
Usually when somebody passes, there's a lot of things that happen with the body. The body defecates most of the time. The body also releases any fluid that it had. Whoa. The body also, I don't know if it vomits. I don't recall ever seeing that. But again, I was never a detective or anything, so there's only a few situations where I've seen somebody strangled.
When you strangle, well, not when you, but when strangulation happens, doesn't like blood vessels from your eyes usually like pop or
Yeah, there's that, and I think also there's some like broken stuff all up in here. Yeah. And so the larynx, I think, is what it is.
Well, strangulation takes a while, doesn't it?
Not necessarily. Depends on how strong you are and precise you are.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't necessarily take that long. and also the size of the person that's being assaulted. And so, given the fact that she was pretty small,
You
probably
break the trachea, right?
right, exactly. And even if there was those things, right? Let's just say there was defecation, there was urine and vomit.
Mhm.
You know, those are things that you can probably clean up with and get rid of a lot easier than blood and semen. You know what I mean? Like those type of things stay around.
Well, I mean, from what we heard already from this case, I think there's two possibilities, from to me at least. She got something happened, strangulation, because they didn't find any DNA right at her home.
I
Or at
don't
least
think
visible.
so. I don't think they found anything that would make him believe that something happened.
Yeah, so like it's either strangulation or, instead of that being the place of the crime, maybe when he drove out towards his dad, somewhere between there, that's when it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if they get videos or from traffic lights and whatnot, they can see if he's by himself or he's actually has someone with him. And
Yeah, that's true.
and see how the timeline works. Because if he goes to his dad's and halfway there he's going with someone and he comes back by himself, like that's gonna be a big red flag. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, man. No, you're absolutely right. Or if you, yeah, no, you're right. I'm gonna look up something real quick. If anybody knows, please hit me up in the comment section or an email. What her address is. I want to look at the residence. I haven't found that yet. I want to look up I want to look at her residence.
Yeah,
I want to look at the houses. Huh?
So I looked for it, but I couldn't find it, like the physical address.
Yeah, I couldn't find the address either, and I want to see if there's ring devices in the houses that are next to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that'll tell us a little bit of stuff too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna go to Google Earth. But yeah, if you guys can send me the name is Madeline Kingsbury. Her name is Madeline Kingsbury. So that's how you spell it. In fact, I'll put it in the live chat for everybody.
What's it called? It's just like, man, at the end of the day, it's like if she's found, alive, hopefully, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's kind of bad in both ways. I mean, obviously, right? I mean, let's say she is deceased or whatever. I mean, she leaves 2 kids behind, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, let's say she did run away. That will suck for the kids knowing that, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying? She just try to book it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So we have some news.
Oh.
Police halt the massive search. Let's see what comes next. The case of young mother who mysteriously went missing in Winona, Minnesota, has gained nationwide attention. Involuntary suspicious. Let's see. What's new? What is new? Police said investigators searched the van and Kingsbury home, where they found her cell phone, the jacket she had been wearing in the morning of her disappearance, and her wallet with her ID. Based on all this, we believe Madison's disappearance is involuntary, suspicious, and we're concerned for her safety.
So she did make it home after they dropped off the kids in.
Yeah, she made it home. So search efforts have centered in areas of Kingsbury home as well as along Highway 43. Let's see.
Don't they have a search going on Friday?
I don't know. This Friday?
Yeah, this Friday. I believe they're asking for volunteers, 18-year-olds, and between a certain age, so they can get into rough terrain.
Yeah, they have to be 18 years old and up. They have to be well hikers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wonder if they got some more information.
That's what I'm thinking. Is like if they're asking for volunteers for a certain specific spot, then they might know a little bit more to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I just can't find. All right, what's the? Let me look this up. Why? Do we know if she owned that house?
No.
Let me see. Let me check. What is the? All right, so that's the county. Wyoming County property search. Alrighty, and countyoffice.org. Enter. I want to enter an address. I want to enter a name.
There was this case that kind of sounds close to what this is. Let me see if I can remember the name of the mother that went missing. And it was a crap show after that. Okay, yeah, it was there's a case about this girl or this woman that went disappeared. Her name was Susan Cox Powell. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
That sounds familiar. What was the?
So this couple had an argument, whatever, and they had 2 kids, right? And apparently she didn't. The next day, she didn't end up going to work, so everybody was calling her, and she wasn't answering. And the husband was calling her too at work, looking for her, and she called in like a missing persons, right, to the police and whatnot. The mother actually did, and they questioned him and said that on that night that he took his kids camping. And you're talking about at that time of the year, I think it was like close to it was like in December or something. So like it was like super cold. There was like a real bad winter blizzard coming in, and he supposedly went camping with the 2 kids. And I think that at the time they were like 4 and I want to say 5 and 3. I want to say that. So that was a big, red flag, and they couldn't find her. Right? They couldn't find the girl, so they made him the prime suspect.
Right.
Anyways, they searched more into his background, and they ended up finding out that girl's father-in-law was super obsessed with her, and like he was video recording her like at work, like getting out of the work, and like he was super obsessed. Yeah, he would like write love letters and make videos of himself. It was super weird, right? Anyways, they didn't find her body. They never found it, right? But what happened is that the dad ended up getting custody, right?
Yeah.
And after they found out that the dude's dad was super obsessed and had CP, you know what I'm talking about, in his computer. They took away the custody because at the time they were living together. So they took away the custody and they put it into state's custody of the kids. And he can only get visitation, like a certain amount of visitation with somebody supervising.
Right.
And the supervisor, the person that was there to supervise the visitation went to the house, and he ended up grabbing the kids and keeping the lady out. Right?
I know the address starts with 465, but I don't know the street yet. I'm on her Facebook.
And so like the dad of the kids grabs the 2 kids, puts them in the house, closes the door, doesn't let the supervisor go in and supervise the visit. And he ended up brutally murdering his kids and setting the house on fire in a murder-suicide.
Oh, snap.
But I mean, that documentary itself, man, like I'm just telling you like bits and pieces because like that documentary is crazy, man. Crazy. It's beyond crazy. I mean, it was insane. When I first heard about it, I was like, man, what the hell? It's real sad, man. The kids ended up, they passed away, and that's the worst part, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with it.
No, for real, man.
But that sounds like something like this. But there's a lot of cases that you can bring up. It sounds similar. You know what I mean? Like it Peterson? The Peterson, was it Scott? Is it Scott Peterson?
Yeah, there was Scott Peterson. There was somebody else. There was a few Petersons, I think.
there was a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of cases like this.
Mhm.
The documentary is it's called. Let me tell you now. It's called The Disappearance of Susan Cox Powell. Yeah, Powell. Yeah, I believe it's on YouTube. But I mean, you can. I think it has the full documentary. I suggest y'all watch it, and it's a mind. It messes with you, man. Like everything that the father-in-law and the son did, it's crazy, man.
Really? All right, so apparently this is the area where she lives. I don't see the white van. That doesn't mean, I mean, the blue van.
Mhm.
But apparently this is the
What
area.
year is that?
This was 2023. So it was this year.
Hmm.
They may not have been at home.
The number is 465. It's 465, and it's got the numbers are right next to the light fixture. If you look at the pictures I sent you, it has a picture of the address, but not the street.
What'd you send to that, Blue?
On the chat, on the Monday chat.
Okay.
What's
I
it
sent you
called?
a couple of links on there. Okay, because her sister put out a search bogo. What is it? A bogo for her?
Ebola?
Bolo, yeah.
Hmm.
And they also put pictures of her tattoos and stuff. So.
Known facts, details. Let's see.
Those, what are those? Is it tattoos?
Yeah, these are some tattoos that she has.
Hmm.
Lux. I'm not going to be able to read that. There's the vehicle.
Was it Tommy?
Yeah, you said you sent over the address there too.
Well, just the numbers, but not the actual street. But it's 465. I'm trying to find the street, but it's hard.
Then it's this one. And this was this.
It's the same
Should be
color.
Cary
blue.
Drive.
Yeah, it's the same blue color.
As this vehicle was this house here.
It is that type of blue. Yeah.
I want to be able to see the number, but it moves.
But type in 465 in the street. And,
There it is, 465.
yeah.
There's a shed in the back.
Yeah, and the
Highway
picture.
this.
In the picture, there's a shed in the back too, and they're playing.
I wonder if the neighbors were home. They would have been able to. I mean, it's a duplex. It's one house, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it was during the week, during the day, probably working.
Let's see if we see any surveillance. That looks like a regular doorbell. I don't see anything up there. Maybe that's a ring. Could be.
Yeah, I gotta get myself one of those. Honestly.
Yeah. The only thing about if this one is a ring,
Mhm.
it's pretty far out to the left. Like, I don't think it would be able to pick up on that side.
Yeah,
Like, these properties are spread out.
it's a good size lot.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there cameras, surveillance anywhere around here? And I can see there.
It's crazy, man.
464.
And then, like, the fact that she's, short, and like he doesn't weigh much. Like he can pretty much, if he's the person, you can pretty much. He wouldn't have trouble, moving the body.
Nah, don't seem like it. Don't seem like it.
135, man. It's pretty light.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing
Well, that
anything around here about surveillance. I don't see any surveillance here, man. That's insane. And so, and the reason I want to see this surveillance here is to see if, when he said he left, if it's accurate, the time that he said he left, and if he left by himself. And then if anybody else had left, right? Well, those are the things that you want to know. Did anybody else show up and leave? By the looks of it here, I don't see anything, no cameras on the corners of the houses or anything. I mean, I've never heard of this town. It's probably small. You know, crime probably doesn't happen very often here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm pretty sure it's like rare, but like even like the the what's it called? The boyfriend is really suspicious, man. For him being the last person to see her.
No, I agree, man. I agree 100%. 100%. And supposedly, and we'll be able to do this probably by the next time. We'll be able to put a map on where it is that his dad was at. Because apparently he went through Fairmont, which is right here.
Mhm.
This is where Winona is. Do a big circle. And right here where that 90 is, that's Fremont right here. And then he went down this direction towards, I can't remember the name of it. If I see it, I'll tell you guys. But man, there's a lot of mountain area, dude. Like all this right here is terrain. That's
Possible sites.
And that
Yeah.
thing I sent you, it was one of the things where it says that it's, I think, between the 10th and the 14th they're gonna do some searching, but it has to be like 18 and up because the terrain's pretty rough.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that search. I got bad knees, man.
yeah. No, yeah, man. Me too, man.
Soccer. I loved it, but man, am I feeling it now when I got older?
Yeah, I hear you, man. I played football and being an officer for a while. Had a lot of injuries. And so they'll catch up with you in your older years. But yeah, here's a picture of the guy again. Look at how tall he is compared to this plane. Looks like a bigger guy.
Oh yeah, or small plane, either one.
It does look like a smaller plane, but
No, he's pretty tall. No, yeah, he's pretty big.
he's a good sized person.
So at least 6 foot. It sure looks like it.
It appears to be so. Doesn't look like a skinny guy either. He's not like a frail person.
Nope, not at all.
Now, one of the other things that's kind of weird is apparently, so there's a Facebook group, right?
Mhm.
You know, to search for her. This guy's father was like telling people not to post things online because they don't know the whole story yet or something to that nature. He's like, let the police figure it out or something to that. I saw it on Grizzly True Crime. I'm sure most of you guys that are watching us probably watch her as well.
Yeah.
I saw that on there, and I thought that was pretty odd.
Yeah. I wonder if he lawyered up or anything.
I haven't heard so yet. And I don't think he's not being cooperative with police. I think he's been cooperative from my understanding. You know, they searched his house.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They searched the car. Like, so he's been cooperative, you know, and he's not been named a person of interest. It's only been the circumstances surrounding this case that's been somewhat sketchy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a crazy ordeal, man. It's a crazy ordeal.
Somebody's asking for the name of the boyfriend. What was his full name?
Adam Fravel.
There you go. I don't feel.
I'll bring it up here.
I wonder if you have any movie buffs here in the chat.
Well, I'm sure we do. He has a lawyer. You know what? I'm gonna look it up. Let's find that out.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, If I was being questioned, though, lawyer up pretty quick, even though I'm not, I wouldn't be guilty.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
The beard makes me look guilty of certain things, but it's not true. I'm a gentle giant.
He sure is. Let's see. And I don't want to go down the Reddit rabbit hole.
Oh, we did that, and that was not fun.
No, it wasn't. Let's see. Yes, he got a lawyer, and he ain't talking no more. Okay.
That's about right. It usually happens. I mean, there's like I said, it's like usually the number one suspect at the time is going to be the partner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're in close proximity. They see each other every day. And it's probably the last person who saw them alive, or there.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, they had access because they have keys, and there's no sign of forced entry yet that they've said that there was a break-in. So that's one thing that they haven't mentioned that the doors are locked, or if there's any sign of forced entry.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't mentioned any of that I've read in the report that I've seen.
Yeah, they would have stated it that it looked like there was forced entry.
So that's why he would be suspect number one in my book, especially since his time didn't add up a little bit.
I mean, he's the last person to see her. It doesn't appear that it appears that whatever happened to her at that house.
Yeah.
Right? Because she got back, she was on the phone, and her personal belongings were found inside of the house. Now, if rumors are true that they were going through a breakup, that also brings on more speculation against this guy, in my opinion. Let's see. This is the and I'm a part of this, is finding Madeline Kingsbury.
Yeah, I just saw that one. I was like, should I join?
You should, man. I've joined all these Facebook pages, like with this one, Coburger, all of them, any and all of them, and I check them. I look through them.
Yeah, that's the one I sent you because I saw those. I was like, why don't we send you those? Because those are identifying factors if somebody goes fishing and sees something in the water. There's a lot of lakes by there.
Yeah.
So most recent search maps for Winona. Let's see. So these are the maps that they've searched all along the highway towards, like I mentioned before, Fuller or Fulmer or whatever it was called. They've searched, or they're searching this, like it appears to be like swampish, or not swamp, but lakes and bodies of water. All right. Okay. I mean, these places that they're searching for are places you would expect, or possibly somebody to dump something.
That's a good question.
Are there any police reports at that address prior to her missing? That is a very good question.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll do a freedom of information to see if there's any calls going out to her address, now that we know what her address is. It's a crazy situation, but we're going to keep on to this. Hopefully, as horrible as it sounds, hopefully she just left.
Yeah.
That's
people
probably, people just, I think there was a person, I can't remember the case or anything, but somebody went missing and then they found them like 20 years later, and they were like, I don't want to be found.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of cases like that, actually. Yeah. There's a lot of cases they want a new life, and they blame it on aliens too.
That's true. They go missing for 5 days without the without any evidence of being gone for 5 days. Like, they claim they've been in an alien spaceship out of Snowflake, Arizona for 5 days, and show back up later, make a movie called Fire in the Sky. And
there's actually this case like recently, like maybe 2 years ago, where a dude was at home with his wife, and like he went outside, and this car or truck or whatever it was, a couple of guys got off, grabbed him, put a bag over his head, and took him, right? And the wife called the police and told them everything that happened, and the cops investigated. The guy came back maybe a day and a half later, right? Mm-hmm. Turned out that he ended up planning his own abduction so he can go out and party with his buddies. And they arrested him for all this stuff. I'm not sure what the charges. Remember that?
I have heard of that. I've heard of that. That's
I was like,
crazy.
dude, just go, just tell you you're taking off. Jesus.
No shit.
Lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you later, Blue. Blue's going to
Yeah.
work.
I'm gonna go to work, guys.
Later, man.
We're gonna be jumping off here soon, anyways.
Yeah.
You know, we got a guest coming on Wednesday.
Mhm.
This is so remember last week when we were talking about possible cases that Brian Koberger
Yeah.
may have been involved. There was a young lady who went missing, still missing, under
Mhm.
suspicious circumstances out of like Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area.
Yeah.
Courtney or Court Stouffer, I believe was what her name was. You know, there was supposedly her boyfriend got arrested that night for drinking under the age or having possession of alcohol under the age. And then she went out, got into a disturbance with one of her neighbors or something like that, and then just completely disappeared. Now, the neighbors, the boyfriend was in jail throughout the night, and the neighbors, they've been cleared. Nobody knows what happened to her. We brought it up because there seems to be some similarities. Well, one of her friends has come forward and wants to talk about Courtney's disappearance and possible involvement with Brian Koberger.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about that on Wednesday, y'all. So make sure y'all hit that like button, and make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. That way you're caught up when we bring her on. She's got an interesting story, and I think there's some similarities there that could align with possibly being involved with Brian Koberger.
Let's see.
So,
It's gonna be crazy if it is. You know what I mean? Imagine. Oof.
No, I know. And so, you know, there's been 2 counties in Pennsylvania that are looking at some suspicious circumstances that possibly could involve Koberger.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be crazy if this is one of them, man. But we're going to have, her name's Holly. We're going to have Holly on the show Wednesday night. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We're going to continue to cover the Madeline Kingsbury case. I'm going to put some more, I'm going to do some more plots on a map. I'm going to get the address for the father, check out that. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to talk about this. So what we have planned for this week is tomorrow, unless something breaks, we probably won't be doing anything. Wednesday, we'll have Holly on, and we'll be talking about Miss Stouffer and her disappearance. Yeah. And Friday, we have Lena from TNT, from Truth and Transparency, coming on as well. And so pretty heavy week. So make sure you guys are locked and loaded and ready to go, because it's going to be an impactful show for these next few ones. But we're getting a little bit long in the tooth. Do you have any final words, Jaime, before we let everybody go?
No, man. I just want to say thanks for everybody who was here on the live chat, mods, members. You know, thank you for hanging out with us, hearing us out, and we'll be back for more.
We'll be back. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday unless something else breaks. But with that being said, we'll tell you to quit drinking, but we don't want you listening to drunks. We're the Drunk Turkey Show. Peace out, y'all.